Welcome to the First and Goal 365 podcast, the number one home for player development both on and off the field, and also the home of the First and Goal Showcase, along with the Carolina Clash on the Coast Senior Bowl. Today's guest is Akeem Judd. Akeem Judd is going to talk about the determination it took to make it from Southern Durham to Ole Miss to the NFL. And our high school highlight shines a bright light on Ian Hemilright. Ian is a freshman phenom from Green Hope High School. And I'm your host, Coach Ken Blocker. See you on Thursday at 8, streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. This is the First and Goal podcast. What's up, everybody? How y'all been, man? How's everybody? It's been a long time coming, and back by popular demand is the First and Goal 365 podcast. I appreciate everybody's love and support about the podcast and asking when I'm going to bring it back and really pushing me to and motivating me to come back and do this again, man. So hopefully everybody is okay. Hopefully we're pushing through this pandemic and keeping our heads up and being positive. There is a lot to peel back and uncover, and I can't do everything in one show, but I will be dropping more information. So please follow me at First and Goal 365. That's the First and Goal page. Then you also have my Coach Block page. That's all the social media. So if it's Instagram, if it's Twitter, if it's Facebook, it's all First and Goal 365, or it's Coach Block. And also we have the First and Goal 365.org website as well. So you can check information out there about recruiting and everything else. So it's a lot. Also, we got some good news. I'll be releasing sooner rather than later, not this show, because once again, we got a jam-packed show. In reference to recruiting and a workshop that we'll be doing live and virtual. So there'll be a workshop that we'll be doing face-to-face, and there's going to be one virtual where people can tune in virtually and get the information they need, class of 2023, 2024, and 2025. And with that being said, we're just going to jump straight in. I have a new segment that I'm going to be doing, which is the high school highlight, and we're going to highlight a guy every time we do this podcast, and it doesn't make a difference, freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior. But today we have a great senior that we're going to introduce from Green Hope High School, who has started as a true freshman. And anybody knows that that's not an easy feat, especially when you are playing 4A ball. So he played 4A ball, went straight from 8th grade into his varsity career as a 9th grader, starting center, which is one of the hardest positions on the field. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Mr. Ian Hemilright. How you doing, Ian?
Good. How are you?
Good. Hey, man. And I am sorry if I butchered your last name. I did ask your mom the proper pronunciation. Give us your last name, just to make sure.
Hemilright. You got it right.
Okay, I got it right. Cool. So tell me a little bit about yourself, what school you go to, man, and just who you are. Who's this freshman phenom? Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Oh, my name is Ian Hemilright. I go to Green Hope High School. I'm a freshman, class of 2025. Off the field, just like to hang out with friends. I'm a social guy, and lots of football work.
I see it. So
5 days
a week. Okay. So then you're working out with the team, and then also do you have your own trainer as well? Yeah,
I do weightlifting after school, and then some days or on the weekends I go to Coach Chavar.
Okay, awesome. Now tell me this, with having the workload from being a varsity football player, tell me about that jump that you had from, matter of fact, we'll get to that question later. I'm sorry, I'm my producer probably will get upset about that. I'll go in order. So tell me this, let's have some fun. Who are your favorite teams first? High school, college, pros? Who do you watch? Who do you study?
Big Panthers fan.
You're a Panthers fan?
Lifelong Panthers fan.
Okay, cool. I'll take that. I'm a Steelers fan, so I don't know anything else but Steelers. But, it's okay. I'll take the Panthers as well. I'm a Cam Newton.
Yeah. Cool, and in college, UNC, ECU.
UNC, ECU.
I've been going to ECU games since I was 4.
Okay, cool. Who's your favorite college player?
Probably Sam Howell.
Sam Howell? Okay.
Yeah, cool. I've met him a couple of times.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
Was he a cool guy, or was he kind of?
He's pretty chill. He's relaxed.
That's cool. Now, besides yourself and your team at Green Hope, man, who else do you watch in the high school level?
I keep up with Gibbons because I know some guys there. Roseville.
Okay. Cool. Now, next question for just some fun. What do you think, or who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl and why? Which two teams are you going to be pulling for?
The Bengals.
You're pulling for the Bengals.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, see, as a Steeler fan, I can't accept that, man. I don't want the Bengals to win because they're in our conference. So I don't care who the Bengals would be playing. I'm picking somebody else. So who in the Bengals are your top guys that you like to watch? Are you a Chase fan or are you a Joe Burrow fan? Who's the guys that you're watching?
I mean, Joe Burrow. You
love
can't
Joe
not
Burrow.
like him.
I love Joe too, man. He does have a great attitude about himself, but because the Steelers play him twice, I just can't accept that, man. So then let's get in a little bit about you, man. So first I want to, while you're talking, I want to show the people your highlight tape, man, because you do have a pretty decent highlight tape. And while I'm pulling that highlight tape up, man, tell me some of the pros and cons that you have with varsity football, man, because making the jump from 8th grade to 9th grade is already tough as a student. But you added on jumping as a student and then playing varsity football, and not just playing varsity football, starting varsity football. So tell us a little bit about that jump, man, and just kind of the things that you experienced that were good and bad.
I think it's great to be out there as a freshman to have all the older guys lead you because you go out there with all the experienced guys and you're just a freshman. They'll guide you the whole way. Like it's great at Green Hope. It's your teammates are your brothers.
Right.
They have your back for everything, regardless.
Okay, they do. So then who's one of the guys that you immediately leaned on right away at Green Hope?
Austin Turner. He's a senior. He was a right guard.
Okay.
He was one of my best friends on the team.
Cool. So then now when you study now, when you were in 8th grade, did you study football as much as you do now?
I would say probably not, because now high school, we have all the access to huddle and watching film. Like game days, I'd be in 4th period just watching huddle on the team we're about to play.
Okay. So what's some of the hard things that you just like, man, I didn't know it was going to be this hard?
The pace. Varsity is very, very fast compared to middle school and anything else you've ever played. Very fast paced. Practices are difficult. You got to go all out in practice.
Right. So I don't know if you know, but Coach Green was your head coach last year, and I got the opportunity to work with Coach Green my first year at Enloe High School, and I know that he's a tough coach, but he retired as well. So tell us some of the things that you appreciate about Coach Green. With giving you the opportunity as a freshman. Tell me some things that you just loved about having him as a coach and experience that he gave you.
Yeah, I think I'll always respect him for giving me the opportunity to go out there and play as a freshman because he put his trust and faith into me that I knew to go out there and do the right thing and do my job to help the team win. Yeah. So I'll always remember him. He was just a great guy. You could go up to, text him, ask him for anything you need, and he'll help you.
Okay. Give me one of before we move on into your next questions, give me one of your experiences where you were on the field and you said, "Ah, man, this is real." Like one of your toughest experiences as a freshman playing varsity football.
Probably when we beat Cary. The crowd was going crazy. It was just it was a big win for us because it was mid-season. We had been kind of down the previous games. We had a good week of practice, went out there, and we beat them. And I just remember running to the sideline yelling and hugging Coach Green.
That's great, man. I remember my first experience as that too. I was so excited when I won my first varsity game. I hugged my dad. We played in mud, and I forgot that I was covered in mud, and I just hugged him, and he left the game covered in mud. So you never forget those type of moments, man. So I want to talk to you about an honor because you as we watch your highlight film and we see that you're definitely a dog out there, man. You got honored with something that not too many freshmen get honored with, man. So tell me about the experience that you had at the All-American Combine down San Antonio, man, because I used to work for Football University, and I was a scout for the U.S. Army All-American Bowl game. And what I know, and I talked to your mom about, is not too many young men get that honor. So tell me about the experience, and then also give me the stat about how many freshmen were down there, man.
Yeah, it was a great experience. I mean, really, we just sent in the film and the application
Mm-hmm.
to see if we could get nominated to go. We really didn't think we would get selected. It
Mm-hmm.
was, and it was a big deal when we did.
Okay.
But it was a great experience. The coaches, I mean, it was, I don't know, words don't describe. It was just super fun.
Right.
And
You weren't overwhelmed, were you?
well,
The
you show up and you know you got to do what you got to do. You go
Yeah.
out there and do what you know, perform to your best
Mm-hmm.
ability.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
as
so we
far
got
as
to.
other freshmen,
Uh-huh.
I think O-line, it was me and two other for the whole camp.
And there's over about 500 kids or so out there, correct?
Yeah.
Cool. So for those who haven't seen it, this is Ian right here. Can look at my producer. Can you see the screen? Okay, this is Ian right here, man. This is going against. Do you remember what year this guy was?
This guy was a junior.
That's a junior. So once again, for my football heads that are out there, this is a true freshman going against the guy who's a junior, and you can see he handled him pretty good. Like, this is a big drill that's done down in the combine. So that's definitely a great job there, man. And I definitely want to be the guy to applaud you about that, because I know how tough that environment can be. That environment is pretty rough down there. There's some dogs down there, man.
Yeah, for sure.
So holding your own was great, man. So next question, the big one. So when you're playing because eventually, you want to go to college, and you want to be able to play on the next level. My first question is going to be, what's your GPA? And after we talk about your GPA, what are the colleges that you would like to attend? Give me three colleges out that you would like to attend.
Currently 3.9 GPA.
Awesome.
Colleges, UNC.
Mm-hmm.
I love Chapel Hill.
Okay.
Greenville's like a second home because I've been going there all my life.
All right.
Big schools, Clemson. I've gone to Clemson camp since I was in 5th grade.
Okay. Cool. So this football thing is in your DNA. This is in you.
Yeah.
Awesome. So my last question for you, and it's a fun one. Before you get off that bus, or while you're driving to the game on the bus, tell me who's in your headphones. Give me 3 artists that are in your headphones that get you pumped up, in 3 of their songs.
All right. Drake, probably Back to Back.
Okay.
Eminem, Not Afraid.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kanye, All of the Lights.
Okay. I like that, Kanye, All the Lights, too. I'm not a big Drake guy before a game. I listen to Drake after the game. He's a little, he calms me down, but that All the Lights, definitely. I love that, man. So look, check it out. Give us your social media, because there are people watching this, and there's coaches that may want to follow you and everything like that. How can they follow you? Are you on Twitter? Are you on Instagram?
I have Twitter and Instagram. My Twitter handle is Ian _Hemilright. Capital IAN _ capital HEMILRIGHT.
Cool. And that's for both of them, correct? Okay, cool. So I want to once again congratulate you, and I thank you for being a part of the First and Goal podcast, man. You just keep grinding, and we are going to definitely stay in touch and tap in with you before the season starts, just to see how much you've grown and how much bigger your muscles are, because we see your videos and your highlight tapes, man. But you keep pushing, keep being positive, and if there's anything that I can do, don't hesitate to hit me up. All right.
All right. Thank you for having me.
No problem, man. Peace. So that's going to be one of our new segments, just so we can get people familiar with, the guys that are out here working and grinding, because, exposure is a huge part of recruiting. And if you don't get that exposure, or if you don't get the opportunity to get in front of cameras and things like that, you're kind of working from behind now. I mean, and you also want people to know you more than just football. That is a huge piece of recruiting, is your character. And as you can see from that young man, he has a great character. He's somebody that would a coach would want to take the opportunity to get to know and possibly give a scholarship opportunity. So with that being said, we're going to move on, because somebody who knows a lot about scholarship opportunities, and he's been there. He's gone from Southern Durham to JUCO, from JUCO to Ole Miss, from Ole Miss to the NFL. And amongst that, there's been obstacles and things that he's had to overcome. That was the theme of this podcast, is just overcome. Get it done, overcome. And I want you guys to just see a quick little second of a clip I'm going to play about some things that, what he's gone through. His name is Akeem Judd, and I want you guys to understand a little bit about his story. 1 second, let me pull it up here. Share screen. Let me make sure you guys can see what I see. And where is he? Producer help. Okay, there he is. All right. Can you see it? All right, here he is, Akeem the Dream, baby.
No lights, no cable, no nothing. I was in a dark house, and nobody knew it, because I was the type of kid that was just quiet and just taking on the situation.
So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my man, Akeem the Dream Judd. What's going on, Judd?
What's going on, Coach, man? That was
nice. Hold on 1 second. Make sure this sound and everything gets cut off here. Hold on. It's in my ear. Hey, man, I seen you smiling the whole time, man. Took me down memory lane real quick, huh?
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. That's what it's all about when you're done. That's all you're going to have is the memory.
Cool. Now, before we start the 4 downs, so everybody who is familiar with this show, and for those who are not familiar with this show, what I do is I have one main guest, and on that main guest, we go through 4 downs, which are 4 major questions. And on those 4 major questions, we talk about different avenues of what it took for this person to be successful, obstacles they had to overcome. But before we get into the 4 downs and the questions, man, just tell us just a small bit about yourself and what you're doing now.
Well, from Durham, North Carolina, born and raised, grew up in project housing, and single parent raised me, but like you said, there's a lot of obstacles. And right now I'm training, just finished coaching at Shaw, and was the running backs coach. And now I'm just full-time training. So training all skill positions. I train pretty much anywhere on the field, because I'm a real football junkie, but I played the position running backs, but I know all the positions. I study all the positions, so I train everywhere.
Cool. Yeah. We're going to jump into our first down question, man. So our first down question is going to be, how did you remain focused, man? So coming from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, a lot of people think of Pittsburgh, they think of the Steelers. But there's some dark places in Pittsburgh where you got to stay focused to get out. Yeah. And when I seen Durham, and when I moved to North Carolina, the first thing people told me was stay out of Durham. So, man, tell me a little bit about Durham, a little bit just so people have an understanding. And then also, man, tell me how you remain focused to get to the next level. Don't tell them what your next level is, because that's my next question. But
yeah, no doubt.
Tell us how you handled, what you went through in high school.
So high school, Before high school, you know, I don't want to get on here and seem like I was just perfect, you know, like I got in some trouble. My environment where I'm from, a lot of people are programmed to, you know, do the wrong things and be cool about it, you know, make it cool. But where I'm from, you know, it's a lot of people that don't get opportunities. And a lot of my friends, man, we got in trouble. You know, I got arrested. My first time getting arrested, I was 12 years old. And that was just the first time getting caught. I was already doing, you know, things, stealing and stuff like that with my friends, just, you know, being bored in the neighborhood. We ain't had no pools or none of that. And, you know, the rec was always closed until 6 o'clock, you know, and it wasn't too many things to do but get in trouble. And what really kept me focused, when I was 16 years old, I dropped out of high school. I kind of like got off track. A lot of things weren't going right my freshman year. Just like my guy that just was on, I started on varsity as a freshman. I was the only freshman on the varsity team period at Hillside in 09. And I started at safety. But then after the third game of the season, I pretty much was on the bench. And I went down and wasn't really getting no real playing time. I was getting playing time on JV, but, you know, I wanted to play varsity. So just the way that things was going with football, I kind of got frustrated and, you know, things wasn't going too well at home, you know, living situation wasn't right. But I ain't never really had no rules, you know what I mean? I was kind of doing whatever I wanted to do in life and started going down the wrong path. And what really got me back focused was the opportunity to play football again. That was the main thing. Like, besides, staying focused, because I got off track. I was focused up until that point, then I got off track. So once I got off track, what got me back on track was being able to go back into school and feeling like I got that sign from God that it was my second chance, and I probably won't get too many. So when I got back to school, man, I was full throttle. I had a lot of distractions, you know, my grades. When I got back into school, I had a 0.7 GPA. And I never forget, you know, hearing my godmom told me my GPA. She's my godmom now, Miss Bullock. But she told me my GPA, and like, I remember my heart just like dropped, like, dang, man, like it's over. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna come back from that. And she kind of gave me that look like you're gonna be all right. And, you know, just trusting in her, having faith in the people, Coach Jones, you know, they helped me get back in school. So having the trust and the faith in them. I ain't gonna just say too much trust and faith, but I had the trust and faith in God. But, you know, I trusted God to trust them. And, you know, once I got that opportunity, I ain't looked back. I just stayed focused, man. I had a lot of distractions. I had a lot of people that knew me from being a certain type of way, that expected me to still be that type of way. You know, the ones that really truly knew me. And I had the courage to be who I really wanted to be. You know, it's not easy really trying to be who you really want to be when you grow up in an environment where everybody a certain type of way and everybody judging you. You know, you gotta really have some real tough, some strong courage to overcome those obstacles. And I just really didn't. The main thing, I didn't give in to what was going on around me. I stayed focused on the goal and dream. And once I got that opportunity to chase my goal and dream again, I ain't get off since.
Cool. So now, what you're talking about, the opportunity, National Signing Day was February 12th. And I'm sorry, February 2nd. And a lot of people panic at that time if they don't sign. You know that, like, if they don't have a whole family around them signing that paper and looking like they see on ESPN, they think it's over. The thing is, you know, that as we said in the intro, you made it to the league. But tell us about the pathway, because you didn't have the traditional path. You had to make a pit stop before getting to Ole Miss. So just talk about that a little bit.
Oh yeah. So basically, once like you said, it wasn't easy. So with my GPA being a 0.7 in the 10th grade, if you're a freshman, you know, that's your most important year of high school. So if you mess that year up, it's gonna be hard to catch that back up. You're gonna have to take a ton of classes, and you're gonna have to take honors classes and hope and pray that it raise your GPA. But I ended up graduating high school with a 1.7 GPA, and I was getting letters from all types of schools: Auburn, Missouri, Tennessee, East Carolina, North Carolina. And I remember one day I was walking down the hallway after my junior year, and I used to go to a lot of the Carolina games, and Coach Jones, he pulled me in his office one day and he was like, "Hey, Carolina, they want to bring you in and have you go through their Hargraves program, which was where they were sending kids when I was coming out. You'll go there for 6 months, and then you will finish up at Carolina, have 4 years at Carolina, and be good." But that was on the table. I was going to do it, but then like we went to a game, and then the whole coaching staff got fired, so that pretty much was out the window. And at that point, I only had North Carolina A&T, and that offered me, and they had a program at their school where I would have to sit out my freshman year and just focus on my books, and then still have 4 years. But I pretty much was like, it wasn't no red shirt because I couldn't do things with the team, but I'd be able to go to school for free. And outside of that, I had an opportunity to go play at Georgia Military College. I had East Mississippi and a couple in Independence College that both played on Netflix that offered me. But when I went and took my trip down to Georgia Military College and seen how many guys they sent to Division I knew that was my calling. And like you said, it wasn't the path that I dreamed of. It was nowhere near the path that I dreamed. And I felt like, graduating with a 1.7, it was like, man, I don't know what's gonna happen. But
let me ask you a question right in there.
Yep.
So because you were actually ranked as one of the top running backs in the country, were you not?
Yep.
So then let me ask you this, because let's just say we're at the JUCO stage now.
Yep.
And a lot of these kids, they believe in the star system, 4-star, 5-star, 3-star.
Yeah.
When you were going through that, did stars matter more than your academics?
Nah. Because I had a 1.7,
right.
And it wasn't looking good for me. So I made a vow to myself that when I got this second opportunity, I'm gonna make the best of it. And I finished Georgia Military with a 3.0 GPA. And I went to Ole Miss and finished with a 3.0 GPA. So,
now being ranked as one of the top running backs in the country, did anybody make any special concessions for you? Meaning, did anybody say, "Oh, don't worry about it, we'll make it work," or were your grades really that important? Because what I don't want people to think is, and I try to tell kids all the time, and I know you do too, you focus on your academics. Like, you can have all the stars that you want.
Yeah.
But if those grades aren't hitting, recruiting is a business. They can't take it.
No doubt. And, I had the talent. I just didn't have the grades. So when I got my offers in JUCO, my grades was already straight. You don't get your offer in junior college. You don't get your offers until you're going into your second season.
Okay.
So unless you're coming from another place, and they are, you know what I mean? But for most guys, you don't get your offers until going into your second season. And that was the main thing. Like, I took heed from guys like Trent Brown, who plays for the Patriots right now, TQ, who played at Arkansas, Nelvie Hewitt, he plays for the Texans right now. I watched those guys really take it serious and really, hone in on what was going on. When I was on my visit, the offensive line coach said something that stuck out to me. I mean, it's pretty popular now because J. Cole said it in the song, but this was my first time hearing it. And he was saying that, all of us had talent, but the only reason why we was there was because of our grades. And he said, you got to look at it like, you fooled me once, shame on you. You fooled me twice, shame on me. And that was our second opportunity. So if we failed that opportunity, it won't know nobody but us, because that was our second chance at going again. And I was always big on capitalizing my mistakes, making the best of it. And I had a lot of guys that was on my team that was, like I said, they was there for bad grades, and they didn't have discipline. And I went to a military school. So, like a lot of guys, they was giving into the distractions. They was sneaking off, going to parties. They was trying to hang out, go to Atlanta. Atlanta was 2 hours away from where I was at, and me and my roommate, we was in the crib finishing our schoolwork so we could chill on the weekend and not have that to stress about. So the main thing, it wasn't like I was slow in high school. I just didn't care about school, and I ain't had no rules. Right. So, I was doing whatever I want to do. I really just disciplined myself when I got to college and just made it my thing. Like, I'm not letting grades stop me no more.
So Coach Hart just sent you a shout out. That's my guy, Coach Hart. Man. I love Coach Hart. I'm gonna send that out there again, man. He just said that.
I love Coach Hart, man. Coach Hart is part of my story, man. He was there when I was at Southern, and when I quit football, he used to drop me off at the crib and talk to me all the time. And he actually came to my crib and got me back on the team. So
that's what's up. That's what's up. Shout out to Coach Hart, man. He's a good dude. He's doing some great things at Olympic High School out in Charlotte, man. So then now moving on to Ole Miss, man. And before you talk on Ole Miss, man, I just want people to see you at practice real quick. So I'm gonna share the screen again because at Shaw, man, you used to tell people about how you practice. Like, I used to bring it at practice. So I found it pretty interesting that the first thing that they showed on like a little highlight tape about you was you at practice. It wasn't games. So I'm gonna just run that for people so they can see.
All right.
When Akeem just runs the ball, you know it.
Sir. Boy, Judd.
The Durham, North Carolina native has earned every yard he's gained since arriving at Ole Miss.
1st and 10 to the 24-yard line of Alabama. There's a handoff to Judd. Judd off the left side, breaks clear. He may go. He's in the 5. He's in the end zone. Touchdown, Ole Miss.
Did you hear that? He brings it every single play.
If you hit him head on, you gonna probably feel it worse than he feel you.
I think the main thing that he's got going for him is that stiff arm.
Well, that's like running into a log, isn't it?
That was
Corner
old.
Streeter on the tackle.
That's stiff arm.
That's old-time football right there.
It's kind of special to watch, man. You see him in practice, and you not only see it, but you hear it.
Let's go ball, Dream. Let's go ball, baby.
He has what I call dancer's feet. He can move the pile when he chooses to, but he also has the ability, probably better than any back I've coached in a while, that can make you miss.
Handoff. It's Judd straight ahead as the first down. The 20 breaks clear. He may go. 10, 5, touchdown. Ole Miss. Akeem Judd. I don't know if it's a juke or a shake and bake or what it was. The defender completely bought it.
If it's 1st and 10 and there's not much of a hole and the guy gets tackled for no gain, it's 2nd and 10 now. Whereas if you break that tackle and it doesn't look like much, but you fall forward for 3 yards, 2nd and 7 is a whole different ball game.
Yeah, well, Akeem's got it both. He's got the feet and he's got the thump factor. When you go low and all of a sudden he can move his feet and get out of that, or if you try to hit him high, he's going to lower his shoulder before you get there, and he's going to embarrass you.
He is a load to bring down now, and the problem is he can't shake you. And then all of a sudden, when you think he's about to try and make you miss, he's putting his pads down and he's running you over.
Everybody was like, we need big back, need big back, need big back. You know, he's 225 pounds, and that's one of my favorite highlights is him in the Mississippi State game running through that guy.
Straight ahead, big room, 45 to the 50, breaking a tackle is Akeem Judd. He's to the 45, hard running by Akeem Judd.
I feel sorry for him after that. Guy came to hit him, and he ended up knocking himself out. So, man, you be like, man, that's one. I'm glad he on my team.
So now, when you see that, because I know that had to give you some goosebumps. Because when I watched that, I ain't see that run against what was that, A&T?
That was Mississippi State. Mississippi State. That was our rivalry game. My junior.
So now people see that and they see everything that's done game day. Talk about the jump from going from a JUCO program to a D1 program such as Ole Miss, where you playing Bama and all that. Talk about the preparation so that these young guys understand what they're getting into, because everybody wants a scholarship till they get a scholarship. So talk about that a little bit.
The main thing that I realized off of my life, I always had the talent. The work ethic was always, at one point, was always up and down. So I kind of seen the results of my life by backtracking my life and seeing how when I knew it was times I could have gave extra effort, I could have pushed myself harder, and I didn't. And when I got to JUCO, that was just something that just turned me all the way up. The workouts was crazy. The workouts was like super hard. And then when I got to Ole Miss, it was extra hard. But I really just, man, during practice, that's my game day. Like I used to tell my guys at Shaw, like, make practice your game day. You're going to practice way more than you play any games in football. So, you got to make fun of it. It'll get boring when you just out there and you just doing the regular. You got to make it like it's a game time atmosphere. And ever since I was young, like, even in real life games, I wasn't playing against, we might have been playing against Hillside. I wasn't playing against Hillside. I was playing against Penn State. Whatever team that looked like a team that was in the league or in college, that's who I was playing against in my mind. And that's how I took it as far as when I'm training, when I'm working out. Like a lot of my friends, they didn't really want to hang with me too much because I ain't gonna say they didn't want to hang, but they knew that there was going to be some football involved. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be taking no time off of football, and we're gonna do some real working out. We're not finna come out here and run no routes. We finna run sprints. We're gonna run the stadium. Right. Then we're gonna work out, and then we're gonna run the sprints again. Like, I just wanted to take advantage of all the time that I had to put into my craft. And it always paid off, man. That's one thing I can say. Whenever I gave it up and really just poured it out on the field and challenged myself, go past my limiting beliefs. You know, a lot of guys, they stop at they top. They think that that's it. But you gotta go past that to really expand your game and go further in life. And you know, going to junior college really just opened my eyes. One guy, like I said, Ty Quentin Coleman, he played at Arkansas, played at Georgia Military. He was a safety for us. And when I got the Georgia Military, nobody used to work out like outside, you know what I mean? And that was something that carried for me from going into my senior year when I seen the results. And I just kept that flame going, and I was like, man, what I got to do to get these offers? He was like, bro, just keep doing what you're doing. And then the weight room, Coach Hill, who was in charge of the weight room, came up to me and told me that I was going to wear number 1 at Georgia Military, where nobody wore number 1 for like 8 years. Okay. And the reason being, they like my work ethic. They thought I was one of the fastest and strongest freshmen coming in. Me and my I ain't gonna say, you know, my partner LeGrand, we went in there and we represented, man. We went in there with a goal in mind, and it got taken care of. But I went, all my friends and peers, I always felt like I always outworked them. Not saying that I was better than them, but I was gonna do something. Coaches used to tell me I had to get off the field. You know, Coach D. Robin, and they used to always tell me I had to get off the field after practice. That was my getaway. That was my safe zone. That was always to ease my pain. So I stay out there on the field for about 5 hours nonstop.
So before we get to the next question about the NFL, man, real quick, can you explain to the young people about what a D1 college schedule or a day looks like, man? Because people don't understand, you know, the younger guys who aspire to be a D1 guy really don't understand that you're coming to work. So if you can, man, go over what a normal day would look like for you at Ole Miss.
For sure. I'll talk about right now is winter workout. So in the winter, you're going to work out you're going to wake up at about 5 o'clock. You got 6 a.m. runs. The runs is going to be brutal. It's going to be something strenuous that you probably never did in high school. So you might as well be training yourself now if you're trying to play at those levels. And we would go from there. You'll have breakfast. You can eat after you run. You have class. You probably have a class at about 10, and you know, you probably have classes from about 8 to 3 in the afternoon. Then you're gonna have weights at 4, depending on your position. You're gonna have weights, and then you're gonna have study hall. That's mandatory for freshmen, and depending on your GPA, after that, you'll have to go to study hall. Then after study hall, you'll have dinner. Then after dinner, you're free to go. But during the season, that's the real. You're gonna have to wake up at about whatever time you go to class. You don't have to run. You go to class typically about 8 o'clock. You're gonna have meetings in the afternoon. You might have weights during the day. Yep, you're gonna have weights before practice. So you're gonna have weights before practice. you're gonna lift before you go. I can't speak on everybody, but at Ole Miss and the SEC, we lift before we went to practice. And then we lift, then we had meetings, then we go to practice. Then after practice, you eat, go to study hall, do it all over again.
Cool. So now you mastered your fate with high school. Then you mastered your fate with junior college.
Yeah.
Then the dream is starting to get a little bit more realistic because I'm at Ole Miss. I'm taking advantage of my opportunity. You make it to the league. Now, for those who dream about the league, tell us not necessarily the glory side. Tell us some misconception of that people have that once I get to the league, the work don't stop. Now what?
Yeah, that's probably the biggest one right there, because I kind of got into that mode at first, you know, and I didn't even get drafted, but I kind of felt like, you know, when I'm sitting in the locker room and I look to my left, I see Aaron Rodgers, and I look up, I see Devontae Adams, and I'm riding with DeMarco Murray, you know what I'm saying? It's like riding on the plane with Derrick Henry, those things that I was like, wow. So I kind of got into I ain't gonna say, well, yeah, I was kind of comfortable, but I still was always going hard because of my position as far as being undrafted free agent. But my bad. Go back to the question. I kind of lost track.
It's cool. The question is just, what are some misconceptions? Because
that's right. Yeah. So the biggest misconception is not what you see on TV. It is not what you see on TV. That's just one part. That's just one day. That's like an hour of what you're gonna get. You're gonna probably study football more than you ever studied anything in your life. You're going 24/7, 365. It's a full 9 to 5 job. And you watching film, you walking through plays, you're watching film. That's really it. You're going to be doing a lot of watching film. So go ahead and get used to it. That's where you want to go. You have to be a true student of the game. That's really what separates anybody. It's not really the talent. It's about your mental. Can you handle these plays? Can you, be able to tell if it's an alert coming or if they're killing the play, you going into play with 2 plays at one time. So it's real mental. It's not really skill at the end of the day. And that's the biggest misconception, is thinking that it's going to be like it is on TV.
Okay. So then with that, how versatile do you have to be? Because you played running back, but you played special teams and stuff like that too. So for the younger guys, man, just talk about how you have to have versatility.
Yeah, if you gonna play in the NFL and you don't be the number one, like the number one pick, you might as well get ready for being on special teams in some sort. Alabama, all their starters play special teams, and Derrick Henry done played special teams. All the guys that you've seen, they got drafted in the first round at one position. They all play special teams. You're gonna have to be versatile. You're gonna have to train hard at more than just if you playing receiver, you're going to have to do work at special teams drills and all of that type of stuff. Don't just be thinking you're going to just go in there and play receiver. I ain't saying that you can't, because some guys are that good, but it's even guys like I played with Corey Davis over at the Titans, and he was doing special teams at practice. He was the Titans' first-round draft pick. So, that's just what come with it. You're going to have to play special teams. You're going to have to be prepared to go in there and do whatever they ask you to do. When I was with the Packers, I was 230 pounds, and the coach asked me, "Do you catch punts?" And I was like, the dude looked at me, he was like, "Bro, say yeah, you catch punts." I'm like, "Yeah, I catch punts." And then back there catching punts, you know what I mean? But I never was gonna play that, but still, you just gotta be willing to do whatever it takes.
Okay. Now, before we get to our last question, with doing whatever it takes, man, I want to ask you a high school question, because I don't believe guys should. But do you, right now, as far as multiple sports, I'm an advocate for young men playing multiple sports. How do you feel about guys now getting trainers and kind of focusing on one sport at a time versus all sports?
It's kind of, I played all sports, playing like all the way up until like 10th grade, 9th grade, well, really high school, because I used to play all sports in middle school. But then in high school, I didn't play basketball like I usually did. And I think really it's kind of like both. Like I'm in between with it, because I tell a person, if you want to play all sports and have fun, go ahead, because it's high school. You want to go ahead and do that. And some other sports actually help you out in your main sport. But on the flip side, if you're really trying to make a career out of whatever you're doing, and you want to give it your all, put your all to see how far you can really get, I'm not against that at all either, because I think that if you focusing on one thing, as far as like if you want to be a high school All-American and you're a freshman, and you want to play basketball because your friends playing, and then you got to weigh the odds. Is this really gonna help me with my future, or is this just fun moments? I looked at it like when I used to miss parties and miss events with my friends, I always looked at the future, like, those same things that they doing, having fun with now, I'm going to be having that fun in the future, and it's going to be 10 times better. So you just got to weigh the odds and see what's really worth sacrificing, because you're going to have to make a sacrifice, And is it worth you sacrificing not playing with your friends and all of that and giving it up in your main craft so you can see the big results?
Cool. This is a perfect segue into the last question. The last question is, man, what's the most valuable advice you would give to a student athlete right now? And taking consideration, good and bad, just whatever it is for a student athlete. If somebody came to you and said, "Coach Judd, what should I do?" And I play football. What should I do? What's your most valuable piece of advice you'd give?
The best thing I could tell anybody is to follow your intuition, follow that feeling that you get inside. And, you know, that's that God inside. You know, God is inside, and God ain't gonna steer you wrong. You know, a lot of times you make a lot of decisions based off your mind. Your mind can play tricks on you, and you can base a lot of decisions based off of the opinions of your loved ones. And sometimes your loved ones don't know what's best for you. They love you and they think that they want the best for you, but they don't know what's best for you. So the best thing I can say, man, is follow your heart, man, and whatever you do. You know, if it's something that you ain't supposed to do, you know, your intuition gonna tell you ain't supposed to be doing that. And then you got to follow that. You know, don't never neglect that. Don't never try to, you know, neglect that for your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, because at the end of the day, whatever decision you make, you're gonna have to live with it, not them. If you getting ready to go to a school, you trying to choose a school, and you got all these people in your ear, you know, if you done took the visits and you done felt the vibe off of what you want, not what your mom and your partner and all them want, then that's the best thing that you could ever do. Because at the end of the day, mom ain't gonna be getting up going to 5 o'clock workouts with you. She ain't gonna be having to sit in these meetings with these coaches and listen to them talk you down, or even, you know, hold you back, or whatever the case may be. That she not gonna be around, or he not gonna be around to help you. They just gonna have to guide you through it the best way that they can, and you're gonna be living through that. So follow your heart, follow your intuition, man, and never neglect it.
Okay. So where can we find you, Coach Judd? What's your social media handles and all that stuff? Because this will replay, and I'll make sure we also put it in the comment section so people can get at you, ask you questions or whatever. How can we get in contact?
You can get at me on Instagram at 21_answers. And then my training page is DTE Training, Dream Team Elite Training on Instagram. And that's pretty much it. I have a Facebook, but I'm not active on it. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Any last words, man, before we break up out of here?
Man, if you're trying to get that work, you know, get at me. I'm on Instagram. We're gonna get it in. You know, all the stuff I talked about. I'm gonna push you. I'm gonna push you past your limiting beliefs. I'm not gonna feel sorry for you, even when you're feeling sorry for yourself, because that's gonna keep you where you're at. So if you wanna become a dog, or you wanna stay a dog if you already one, you know, follow me on Instagram at Dream Team Elite Trainer.
Cool. Thank you, Coach Judd, for coming through and checking me out on the First and Goal podcast. We definitely going to tap back in with you, man. So hold on one second. So as you guys can see, I always take my time to find guys that we can learn from who take different paths. There's a multitude of ways to follow your dream and set your pathway on the right track. One of the things that I post on my social media, and I'm glad he mentioned it, and it's trust your process. You'll hear a lot of people tell you trust the process, but you have to trust your process. The process may be the understanding that somebody has based upon their information and their knowledge. And I'm not saying that you ignore it, but I'm also saying that when you have tunnel vision, you have your own sets of obstacles and difficulties that you have to overcome. So the biggest thing that you have to do is trust your process and move at your speed and at your time. You may rush the process too fast and then you're underdeveloped, or you may sit on the porch too long and miss the opportunity to get in the car and hit that highway and hit the HOV lane and get out of there. So make sure you trust your process. Ask your questions if you don't know, for any type of recruiting or any questions that you may have about football process, how this thing goes, parent or coach or player. You can hit me up at coachkimblocker@gmail.com, or all my social media handles is Coach Kim Blocker. And you can always go to First and Goal 365 or firstandgoal365.org. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank Coach Hart for his comment, Mr. Ziegler for his comment as well. And as always, don't compare, compete, and I'll see you next Thursday. Thanks.